Joining us now on our broadcast is Mr. Akshay Raut, a former DG of the Election Commission. Mr. Raut, welcome to our broadcast on counting day. Your initial thoughts, your opening comments on how the numbers stack up. At last count, the NDA leading on 162 seats and counting, a decisive verdict, would you say?
Well, it looks, the figures look what they are, and I don't have any comments on political outcomes. But one thing I just wanted to mention here, I think this is quite appropriate. The completion of the Bihar election, including the counting, which will be completed soon, and the results announcements, which will happen, that shows the faith of the ordinary Indian voter remaining strongly with the election process, election management, and the whole electoral democracy. Because why I'm emphasizing this, I think this is not a routine comment. Because of late, if you see over the last few months, few years, we are having a bit of challenge so far as electoral democracy is concerned. We are having political parties which used to, some of them, candidates also, used to talk about EVM before. They started talking about the electoral roll, the faithfulness of the electoral roll. Then they started talking about the electoral outcomes. In the 75 years of Indian electoral history, we did not have elections where outcomes were starting to be questioned. Governments are set for 1 year, 2 years already, still the outcomes are being questioned. The electoral roll, normal exercises are being questioned. So there is a lot of smoke around. And Bihar particularly did not have a great tradition or a great record of voter turnout, despite the fact that over the last 15 years, due to certain initiatives by the Election Commission, the voting has increased. We had 3 national elections with record 65% voting successively, but Bihar was still not touching 60%. So in the situation which I just mentioned, if the Bihar voters have come in most record numbers and the elections have been smooth, it showed that something is working greatly well. Everything is well with electoral democracy of India. And the other point that I wanted to mention, if you have seen, compared to any other earlier election, the model code violation, law and order issues, even the money and disinformation, which are always concerned, they have been there. I'm not saying that the problems have gone away, but they have not been spectacular in Bihar elections. That means a lot of things have gone well, besides the highest turnout. And the big thing is that my big takeaway is the women rise in terms of electoral numbers, which has happened consistently over the last few years. And Bihar has not stayed behind in that. But this time it has become so historic. It sends a message to the whole population, politicians, political parties. We have seen women-related agenda from political parties. Some may call it privilege, some may call it welfare, some cash transfer. But the thing is that women are now hooked to the electoral democracy process. 9% increase were male in this election. I think this is in 75 years of history of Indian elections, unprecedented. And perhaps that is being reflected in the outcome which you are seeing on your screen and about which you are talking about. But I, from my perspective, because I have been looking at election process and management for long, I would see it as a reiteration of the complete faith of ordinary Indian voters as they come through Bihar electors in the process of elections, in the management of elections, and also the electoral democracy at large.
Mr. Raut, so the previous elections, of course, 2020 happened during COVID time, so one shouldn't really say that, compare that voter turnout with the current. Of course, this voter turnout at 65% is high, and 71% for women. And you say that the vote, perhaps much of what has happened in this election, the results would be determined really by the women voter. In this context, what do you think really brought the women out to vote from the organizational point of view?
But let's see the things in perspective. I am not looking at Bihar election today. That's most important because today that's on the table. But if you see from 2014 onwards, look at last 15 years. There was a program which was started after 2009 elections, which was called SWEEP, Systematic Voters Education and Electoral Participation. It found that there were four deficits in terms of electoral participation: one by women, one by youth, one by urban people, and fourth was people in difficult conditions of life. I think compared to other three segments, the women related interventions by the election management has worked very well. So the first evidence of that is the bridging of the gender gap in 2014 national election, massive bridging of the gap. Otherwise, male used to be somewhere else in terms of participation. Women used to sort of stay inside home in a way. But that was the change. And that change has consistently become better. And to that, what has been added, that political parties, smart as they always are, they started developing agenda relating to women, women, women only. And if you see the last few elections, whether in Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, or Madhya Pradesh, a lot of elections in Odisha, even West Bengal, and now the Bihar government. And there have been women-focused welfare programs, women-specific programs which are leading to their economic and social empowerment. And there may be certain criticism about, the caste transfers, that is another debate, whether it is a freebie, whether it is a bribe and all that. But the fact is that there is something with women which they could clearly relate to. And if you see the last assembly elections, and political parties who threw their lot with women program have really won the elections. And I think Bihar, we are seeing perhaps a repeat of that. I would not like to stick my neck out completely on this, but I have fair reason to believe that that has worked. You are talking about MY. I think there has been evidence of some youth resurgence because there was a discussion on alternative politics and all that. Vote has gone where? When the percentage and the count and the details come, we would know how women have voted in which constituency, how youth have voted in which constituency. But there is a general reason to believe that women have really decisively voted because of the consistent welfare programs around them. And everywhere it is giving results. In fact, I would go to the extent of saying that the constitutional amendment which is proposed, the bill which is proposed to give reservation to women, 33%, it's also an outcome of their strong electoral participation over the last 15 years. But what has happened in 2025 in Bihar, that is stunning. That is even more historic than what it has been.